Yo, what's up, ladies and gentle bitches? Merry Christmas. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a Christmas episode of Sobieska Karate School. Now, I'm hoping I could get this out on Christmas. We're gonna actually see if it is Christmas, even if it's like a day after Christmas, whatever. Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope y'all enjoying your days off or whatever, bro. I hope you're having a good day regardless of what's going on. Today we are back. I am under the weather a little bit. Yeah, I'm completely wiped out today, so I apologize for low energy that I'm coming at you guys with today, but I'm gonna get this video out for you guys today anyway, because I'm trying to excel in discipline and consistency. So we're coming at you guys today with another Sobieska Karate School video. Today we are gonna talk on Tourbillon. That is Lidia down forward 3+4. Boom, there, right there. You may have seen it, you may not have seen it, because it's a very underutilized move. Right? Before we get started, there you go. Go ahead. Class is in session. Oh, so for today's class, like I said, we're going to talk about Tourbillon, right? If you guys know me at all, when it comes to Tekken and kind of how my mindset is, I'm a lab monster. I like to lab. I'm the type of player I like to... I'll go for a character's full moveset top to bottom multiple times. Even if I've seen it 10 times, I'm going to go for it at 11th time and see if I've missed anything that could be useful, right? And Tourbillon is one of them moves that's kind of been sitting right underneath our nose this whole time, because it can be a very useful move, right? If you can use it, if you can fit it into your game plan. I've been playing and I've been trying to see where I can fit this, how I can put this into my bag, and get the benefits out of it. So before we even get to the benefits, let's go over the negatives of this move, right? Before we go ahead to the pros rather than the cons of using this move. So this move is a 22 frame home in mid for Lidia with actually pretty good range. It's not going to hit from there, but from round start, a backdash away, it will reach from there, maybe even a little bit more, right? So you're going to land this move from about 2.8, which is really good range, right? I'm an idiot because I went straight to the pros, right? I was meant to be touching on the cons. The cons of this move are obvious. 22 frames, it's pretty slow, and that is pretty much it. Like, you throw this move out, 22 frames, like I said, if you throw this out at the wrong moment, you are susceptible to being counter hit by obviously faster moves, especially if you're fighting someone like Steve and he's got back one, which is 13 frames, maybe 12 frames, I believe. So you're a whole 10 frames behind. Yeah? So throwing out this move, it's slow. That's pretty much where the negatives of this move ends. So we get into the positives of using this move, and that is pretty much why people don't use that move alone, because it's slow. And we talk about Lidia and how she has trouble with tracking and how her homing moves are pretty good, right? QCF4, you've got back 4, and you've got down back 3. All of these moves can be ducked and launched, which is the main problem with Lidia. This move obviously covers that, okay? With it being a mid attack, you can't duck this move. It's completely safe on block at -9. Now, -9 isn't great. You completely give up your turn. You're susceptible to being mixed. You got to basically hold what your opponent does. But it's safe. It's better than getting punished. It's better than, you know, a lot of other options that some characters have when it comes to homing moves. Not everyone can have a safe mid homing attack all the time. Although this is Tekken 8 and you do see it a lot more often than usual now. However, you know, obviously I wish -5, -6 would be great. It would be even better. That would be a bit too good probably. But, you know, we'll settle for -9. So it's safe on block. It's got good range. It's homing, obviously, and it's mid. The big bonus that you get from this move, the real upside, comes from the plus frames. And that's why I say this move's been sitting right underneath our noses, because nothing about this move is like something that I've unearthed. It's like, right, it's +13, sorry, +12 on hit. Does it change depending on the range? No, okay. So +12 on hit. With Lidia, you're going to see I'm going to go over your options and show you just how good +12 is for Lidia with this move. Now, before we get into that, I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to set my opponent to sidestep left. So this is Lidia's strong side. So they're going to sidestep to the left. a lot of her moves, I'm not even going to say it to +8. So we'll do a down forward 1, +2. A lot of these moves here, down forward 2, down forward 4. Obviously, you got homing attacks. QCF 1 +2 will just about clip the opponent in a lot of circumstances. Back 1 will whiff. A lot of her moves, a lot of her most important moves, forward 2 will be sidestep at pretty much any circumstance if your opponent sidesteps, right? In this situation, okay, yeah, the hop kick tracks to that. But most of the moves, you know, you're kind of a coin toss. Let me just go back real quick because down forward 1 will whiff, down forward 3 will whiff. Oh, down forward 3? Of course, yeah, my bad. I've done a video recently about down forward 3 and how important it is because it tracks in situations like this, yeah? But then obviously we go to her weak side, which is where you really should be stepping this character. And you see that even on hit a lot of the time, her most important moves, even here at +6, like, right, I can show you +6. This stuff's still gonna whiff. Back 1 might clip. Nope, back 1 still getting whiffed. QCF 1 will clip you. Hop kick will whiff. Any of her important moves, any moves that you might be throwing out. I don't know if I showed forward 2, but obviously forward 2 will be sidestepped on most timing. If you got that 14 frame forward 2, which is really important to Lidia. Maybe I'll touch on that at some point. That 14 frame forward 2. If you got that execution and you time that right, then you can catch people in a lot of situations sidestepping to your weak side, which is really good. For that 14 frame forward 2 is really important. But anyway, you get the point, right? In a lot of situations, and if we go to, again, we go back to down forward 1, it's not tracking at all. At +6, yeah, a little bit. But at +2, Lidia has no tracking. So in most of these situations, you find yourself against Lidia in a place where you really can't lock your opponent down, which is why I've done the video on down forward 3, obviously, because that's the situation where most of the time you can lock people down. You don't have many situations where you can truly stop your opponent from moving, and that's where Tourbillon comes in quite clutch. We'll keep it on sidestep right to a weak side. Like I said, sorry, I'm wiped out today, bro. I feel like I got hit by a bus. So I apologize. I'm a little bit, I'm all over the place. Anyway, Tourbillon on hit, that +12, I'm going to show you right here, is going to shut down everything. It's going to put Lidia in such a good situation that really all it comes down to, again, is landing this move in any capacity. So, like I said, I've been practicing and I've been trying to just figure out. I'm not even trying to win. I'm just trying to figure out how I can, when's the best time to use this move, how I can maybe delay and mix up my timing to land this move. And once you've done that, that's the hard part done, because everything else is milk and cookies, it's duck soup, right? So, first thing I need to point out is follow-ups can be range dependent. So if I hit my opponent with Tourbillon from poke range, like we're engaging, we're doing the regular back and forth, if I can land it right here, obviously better than if I land it from back here. My options are a lot worse. So sidestep right. The one bad thing about this, at any range, even if I land this move up close, we're going to go for our options. But most of my actual mix-up options, it's not the strongest mix. You get to lock your opponent down, but the mix is not terribly scary if your opponent knows. However, most opponents are not going to know that in most situations, your lows are going to whiff. You saw here, if your opponent sidesteps left, this will whiff. This is out of range. It's really weird. A lot of this stuff is slightly inconsistent, but down back 3, which is obviously your most threatening low, is going to whiff. If you go through the lows, down 2, also gonna whiff. Down 3, also gonna whiff. So lows are not looking great from this situation. I actually didn't do it from right up close. I think down 2 will actually, well, it still doesn't. From right up close, still doesn't catch. So same situation. Opponent steps right. You've seen it. the down back 3 will catch them. So if they're stepping right, which obviously they should be stepping right because that's Lidia's weak side, the down back 3 for some reason is gonna catch. Down 3 also gonna catch, and down 2 also going to catch. Also, down back 4 after Tourbillon becomes a really good option because down back 4 is, I mean, if we see it right here, down back 3 is minus 13. Lidia's safest low that she has, from a neutral position at least. So, as you can see, plus 12, your opponent, it becomes a legitimate frame trap. I'm going to set my opponent to jab. And I'm going to set my opponent to down jab also, which I'm going to have to actually record myself. So we're going to start showing you how good Tourbillon can be on hit. It's almost, it's such a good situation. So on hit, boom. Sorry, wrong thing. After Tourbillon, my mind's not here. So as you see right here, frame trap. It's going to trade with any jabs. But the beauty of this is, if I show you, down back 4 on hit is 0. On any trade, down back 4 here, you can see becomes plus 8. There's not a move outside of Lidia's jab that will leave you at plus 8. And of course, Tourbillon, which we're going out after right now. This is Lidia's most, outside of QCF 1+2, this is the most plus frame she can get outside of stance. Obviously, like cat foot stance 1+2 will give you plus 20, 27, but you're in stance. So this is really good. So after you trade, you get 8 more frames than you naturally would have had. So the situation is simply better than it naturally would have been if you landed this low. And like I said, this low becomes a frame trap. And I'll show you right here at plus 12. And this is going to be a theme throughout this video. At plus 12, there's just nothing your opponent can do. Your opponent can only guess. Okay? So, and it only really gets worse. What I will show you with the lows, because I've showed you sidestepping. They can't sidestep out of down back 4. They can't sidestep. Well, they can sidestep one direction out of the adjoining sweep. What I'm going to get my opponent to do now is I'm going to get them to hop kick after Tourbillon. Just in case they are predicting a low. Okay? Sorry, yeah, if they're predicting a low after Tourbillon. So, as you see right here, I didn't say it to punish. At minus 12, they can hop kick out of it. But the beauty is, if you expect your opponent, the worst thing your opponent could ever do at minus 12 in this situation is mash. I promise you it's the worst thing they could do. Because it beats down back 3, but it will obviously lose to any other of her lows. Her lows are just too quick at minus 12 to even low crush, right? You try and hop kick, you're going to get beat by down 2. You're going to get beat by down 3. And of course, you're going to get beat by the adjoining sweep. The only low you can beat is down back 4. Naturally, like I showed you guys before, these lows, the only problem is these lows can be sidestepped. So these lows are quite risky to throw out after Tourbillon anyway. Because if your opponent steps to the left, they will avoid it completely. Whereas if they step to the right, like I said, Lidia's weak side, where they should really be stepping, they're going to get caught by all of these lows. So it is quite it's a good risk to take sometimes if you think your opponent's gonna mash. Or again, like I said, most opponents aren't gonna know to sidestep left after Tourbillon. So 90% of the time, I think you're just gonna be able to mix your opponent however you want. But if your opponent is smart, backdash again. Oh, but matter of fact, backdash isn't even gonna help him. I didn't actually check that, but I kind of assumed. So backdash only is going to get away from the adjoining sweep. So really down to, which is already your best low most likely, is going to be your best option. Because it's going to catch sidestep right, it's going to catch a backdash, and it's going to beat any buttons. And it's, you know, again, it's already a decent low to land as it is. Now, we're going to get into mids, because we've gone over the lows. So mids, sidestepping. Again, you're going to see this very consistently throughout this video. And that is, to be blunt, Your opponent has no options. Okay? So after Tourbillon, they're going to sidestep left. This alone is so good. The fact that your opponent, as you can see, we've got them to sidestep. They cannot avoid forward, forward 2. And I don't have to do a 14 frame forward, forward 2. I probably don't have to do a 15, 16, 17, whatever. This move, I could be so slow. You see how slow I was right there? And they just can't step this move after Tourbillon on hit. They have to just stand there. And like we all know, this is like Lidia's key move in a lot of situations, right? Especially at like a lower level, basic Lidia level. Forward, forward 2 is what you're looking out for. And your game plan is usually to sidestep this move. But you can no longer sidestep this move. And like I said, to put it quite simply, Lidia's main weakness is her linearity. This move, Tourbillon, eliminates that. She is no longer linear after Tourbillon hits. Because we're going to go through her options. And she just can't do anything. Your opponent, sorry, just can't. They are locked. You see right there? That's the 14 frame forward, forward 2. But it really, again, doesn't matter. They can't sidewalk. They can't sidestep. Let's go over. I'm going to keep them going to Lidia's weak side. And we're just going to go over a lot of her moves. Her best moves. A lot of which are usually beaten by linearity. Sidestep. So even forward 3. Yeah? QCF 1 plus 2. Can't be sidestep. Back 1. Can't be sidestep. Down forward 2. You know how good it is for this move to not be sidesteppable? You know another one? Lidia 3 plus 4. Flore Maelstrom. Cannot be sidestepped. This is a really good move if your opponent isn't sidestepping it. And in this situation where your opponent can't sidestep it, not only can they not sidestep it, it is also a frame trap. There's nothing they can do. And even on block, right? Your opponent is 0. There's a mind game after this move with a high crushing counter hit launching low and a 13 frame high. I mean, if your opponent is locked in, they can just duck, you know, and beat both. But then obviously you got scary mids, right? You've got 1 plus 2, you got 1. I covered the 1 plus 2 obviously being plus 27. You don't want to get hit by that. So this move just makes all of Lidia's options. I can even fry it back 3. Why would you? But, you know, I can do it. You know? I've been over forward, forward 2. Down forward 3 won't reach unless they press a button. Which is, again, the worst thing they could do. Same with down forward 1. Won't reach unless they press a button. What other moves do we even have that we would want to use? Any move? I can't even think. I mean, I could double up and go for another Tourbillon. Even that's a frame trap. It's a frame trap home in mid that, you know, leaves. I mean, you wouldn't really do that. There's no reason to do that because you could literally do any other move. So I'm just trying to think in case I've missed any moves that you might want to do. Obviously hop kick is gonna win. There's nothing really. So anyway, we've covered the most important moves. So you can't sidestep those. This is where it gets really good. This is where it gets really good. So I'm gonna set my opponent to Rage Art. So I'm gonna attack them and they're gonna go straight into a Rage Art. As you're gonna see, same thing again. Any move up to 19 frames. What's my 19 frame move? 19 frame. What does she have 19 frames? That's 20. What's her 19 frame move? She has a 19 frame move. It is... This is 18. Anyway, we'll figure it out at some point. Oh, it's not this. That's 17. That's 19. There we go. Boom. So anything up to 19 frames is gonna... That's another move I forgot to mention. Because this is a move where, again, if it's not getting sidestepped, this is a really good move. So this move, just, you know, counter hit, knockdown, +6 on hit. It's rare to get those type of frames for Lidia. And be in range to actually use those plus frames. Forces crouch. Really good move. So as soon as you use 20 frames, now Rage Art is going to beat you. But 20, that's so much room to maneuver. If your opponent's in rage, just keep it within 19 frames, right? Simple as that. So I could use any of these tools to follow up, and they can't even rage art me. Do you know how nuts that is? That they can't, that's gonna whiff. Yeah, any of these moves, they can't rage art. It gets even better. Because rage art starts up in 8 frames, I believe. Heat burst armor frames start up in 7 frames. So your 19 frame move is now gonna lose, but 18 frames is still gonna even beat heat burst. All of these moves you do are going to smash heat burst to pieces, bro. Boom. Any option you choose. If your opponent has heat, if your opponent has, obviously at 22 frames, that's a low, so that's gonna beat heat burst. You got forward 2. You have great options. Even boom 7, like this is probably the best option you have. I'm not gonna hold you. You could buffer this input. This option's amazing. Free launcher, I mean, that's a high and that's the mid, right? 50-50, you're guessing. If I'm in heat, you're dying, you're dead. If I'm in heat, still, you're dead. Oh, that doesn't lose. Yeah, you're dead. There you go. So, I just have so many, and even at 20 frames, like, I'm not gonna get floated for the heat burst. I'm already on the ground by the time that hits. Your opponent has no choice but to guess. Your opponent has to guess. Am I gonna do a low? Am I gonna do a mid? You truly have a situation. I know a lot of people who don't know this matchup, a lot of Lidia haters sit here and say, you just have to guess against Lidia all the time. That's not true until now. In 99% of Lidia's situations, you can sidestep her regardless. Even after I do, and I try not to deviate too much when I'm doing these Sobieska karate school videos. But I'm gonna show you guys real quick that even in heat, right? If you sidestep, of course you have to pick the right direction. That's kind of the caveat against Lidia. But even after this move, which y'all hate so much, you can sidestep a lot of her options. Forward 2, you can still sidestep that. I believe what you really want to do is sidewalk right in this situation. Yeah, and that is gonna beat a lot of her options. If you get again the 14 frame forward 2, you know you're liable to get clipped by forward 2. But you see like even in these situations y'all complaining about so much, you can just sidestep this character, bro. And no matter what the situation is, you can sidestep this character. Let me even show you one hit. If I go to the right. So even after eating this, I could probably, yeah, you can still, even after eating this and you're -5, you can still sidestep this character easy. But anyway, that's not what this is about. But that's just to show how important this move is, because this is a situation where your opponent truly can't do anything. Their best option, as I've shown you, is, well, to be honest, their best option is to just block. Because again, like I've said about Lidia, so like these lows are not scary. I'm sorry, none of these lows are scary. Y'all talk about her insane mix. None of this is scary, bro. None of these lows are scary at all. So your best option is to just block, as always, against Lidia. Because you eat a low and nothing happens, right? So yeah, just take the low. But y'all don't like to do that. Y'all want to always press a button or do something. So your best option is to sidewalk, right? To actually evade and get a real good punish. But yeah, other than that, your opponent, they can't rage art, they can't heat burst. There's no panic move. I've even labbed this against like AOP. I've labbed this against Yoshimitsu Flash. It just wins. Like, you have to hold it. Yoshimitsu can obviously spin away from some of this stuff, but I'll actually show you right now. Against Yoshimitsu, you have to be a lot more linear in your options, meaning you don't want to go and use back 1 anymore. You don't want to use 3+4. You're going to keep it really simple to, what was I going to show you? I was going to show you spin. I'm only going to show you one direction of spin, and you're just going to have to trust me that it works both ways. But even after Tourbillon, forward 2 is locking you down. You can't spin. If I'm late, you know, but if I got that 14 frame, I think even like 15, 16 frames, I could probably lock you down. So yeah, this, you can lock down anything in this game. I'm guessing, maybe not anything, right? I'm guessing, like, if I had to think about like Devil Jin back 3, I think it is, the dive kick and stuff like that, like super evasive maneuvers, maybe they'll beat it. But majority of options are gonna get shredded by Tourbillon. It just leaves you in such a good position where there's nothing your opponents can do. Let me try Red Poppy. Even Red Poppy is yeah, it's just not enough range, I guess. So yeah, and then one extra thing to add onto this move as a bonus is that this move wall splats. This move is a wall splatting mid, so if you land it against the wall, you don't even have to worry about the situation of like moves being out of range or anything like that. Again, at this type of range, it's a little bit too far, but to be able to wall splat your opponent from that range at the wall, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good to be able to do that. Yeah. And again, that's just like a bonus. So it's a safe home in mid, and the only downside is that it's slow. And I used to look at this move and think it's too slow to use. Obviously, I was crackhead crazy because what I realized, especially again, this kind of come from playing, I've been playing a lot of other characters, and that's the bonus that comes from playing other characters. Because sometimes you play another character and you see a move that you can kind of relate to another character's move and say, hey, this kind of works. In my case, it was Feng down. It's the same input, actually. Down forward 3+4. His home in mid. And his is even slower, I believe. But I use that move a lot, and I get good mileage out of that. And I looked back at Lidia, and I thought, this is damn near the same attack. Right? Just, you know, slightly different with this one doesn't knock down and stuff like that. But then I realized, like, I could get use out of this move, and again, the only downside is that it's slow. And if it wasn't slow, this move would be broken. So that's it for today. That's it for Tourbillon. Merry Christmas, people. I wanted to get a video out for you guys. I don't wanna be lacking. But yeah, I don't want to take too long yapping about Tourbillon. I hope y'all have a very good festive season. I hope y'all get some good rest if you're getting rest. I hope y'all enjoy your family time, all of that good stuff. I hope y'all are ready to be locked in for 2026, because I sure am with this channel and with any other endeavor in life. We're gonna go hard. So also, I'll see y'all in the next Sobieska Karate School class. I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all learned something. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year if I don't see you before the New Year. Peace.